these ladies here will give you the fundamentals to empower yourself if you are already in a position to start a business or to follow a passion. These are the ladies that have the tools to help you get to the next level. To inspire you, in which if you feel like you may want to start, but you're just thinking about it, you're considering it, these ladies here will inspire you to take it to the next level. But also to connect. So if you do not have a business of any sort, if you're not pursuing your passion, but you just want to connect with women and get together as one, then this is what you're going to, this message today is what you'll take away. So when you leave here today, I want you to focus on 3 things: to empower, to inspire, and most importantly, to connect with your sisters. So I would like to begin with each lady defining, to reflect upon your journey and to let us know who you are and let us know something about yourself. So we'll begin with Yandy.
Okay. Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
Okay, you guys look amazing. I'm Yandy Smith-Harris. I am an adulting mother of 2 that I birthed and of 4 through marriage. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a manager. I manage artists. Some of your favorite artists I've probably worked with, from Missy Elliott to Busta Rhymes, 50, Beckett Violator, School of People, The Diplomats, and currently I'm managing Bianca Jewel Santana. I'm also on this little show called Love and Hip Hop that you guys might have heard of. And, outside of that, I also run a lifestyle brand called Everything Girls Love. And that brand is really my baby. It's really about empowering women and also just educating women about all things that women should love, and also helping women to understand you can be great in the office, you can be Oprah in the boardroom, and then you can be Susie the homemaker without having to compromise one for the other. And the other thing that I'm doing right now is I'm in the process of writing a book, and I also have a development deal with VH1, so I'll be producing some shows. When I think about myself and I think about my life, I think a lot of the reason why I am deemed successful, because successful is relative, depending on where you think you want to be and where you are, it's because I didn't take no for an answer. And it's also because I didn't always try to fit in. And I think that's really helped kind of cultivate and help me to be where I am. When I got casted for this show, I felt like I didn't go to a casting call. They called me to be a part of Love and Hip Hop, and I said, you know, I'm not really TV made. You know, I'm not, at this time, this is when women were jumping across tables, women were fighting and throwing drinks, and I was like, that's not really my thing. You know, I don't do that. I was like, I don't necessarily drive a super fancy car. I don't live in a mansion. I said, I'm very regular. I go to work. At the time I didn't have children, I go to work. I occasionally might have sleepovers with my girlfriends. I go to parties occasionally, but that's my life. I'm very normal. There's nothing in TV that speaks Yandy. And when I got on the television show, I didn't try to fit in. I didn't try to conform to what I knew was selling, that I knew was popular in TV. I just stayed myself, you know, and starting out, I started out as a B character because they felt like, well, she's very normal. She's not going to bring the entertainment. She's not going to bring the drama. And no, I didn't get the, you know, 20,000 per episode in the beginning, or, you know, the 25, 30,000 per episode, because I knew that I was just going to remain myself. But the difference between me and a lot of others that have come and gone, when you're not yourself, especially in this business of reality, you get told on very quickly. And sometimes us as women, we conform to be what we think we need to be for a business. And my business, one of my businesses just happens to be TV, but even in the corporate room, you don't have to conform to being the quiet woman in the background because you're a woman. You don't have to conform to being, if you're, you know, whatever your position may be, a lot of us conform to be what we think we should be to make that money. But what you'll see, and what you can even see in my life in reality TV, is when you stick to who you are, when you stay focused on whatever your goal is, whatever your passion is, whatever your purpose is, you'll have longevity in that business. And that's probably why I've been the longest lasting member on this franchise, because I stuck to my goals, my purpose, and who I was. So if I can say anything, and I know this is not even probably what you were asking me, if I can say anything really quickly to sum up who I am and what my purpose and passion is, it is absolutely to progress the movement forward for women, to let women know that you can be yourself and you can be successful and you can be a powerhouse by sticking true to what your purpose is and what your goal is, because no one can take that from you. Sorry, I'm just going along with it.
Katrina.
Okay. I'm Katrina Walker, and I'm from Tennessee, Memphis, a little small town. Everybody probably heard of Memphis. I'm a mother. I have 4 children, and they're all adults, probably a lot older than you all. My oldest is 38, and my youngest, she's 31. In my life, I had many, many struggles. I would say I've lived more lives than a cat. And when I say that, I've been, as my mother, my beloved mother would say, you know, she's never seen anyone go down and come up, and go down and come up. And that was my life. I married young. I married at the age of just turning 19, so I didn't know anything about relationships. And I was dogged out for 20 years by my husband, many nights, him not coming home and running to the window, and calling my mom, and she said, don't call me no, she used to cuss, don't call me no damn old Trina, wake me up. And being there, and I can say the N-word, she would say it, with being there with a long A-lie, so I went through that, for 20 long, horrible years. My children, they were my everything. From there, just becoming homeless with this guy, and just like one thing after another. But one day, I'll never forget running out of gas. I was Murphy's Law. If something was going to happen, it was going to happen to me. And I remember running out of gas, being pregnant with my 3rd child, and calling a couple of people. That's when they had payphones. To, please come help me. And no one would help me. So I walked up this hill, and I ran into a lady. God was sending an angel. I ran into this lady, and this lady, she was having someone to load things onto her car, her station wagon. And I asked her, I said, I was distraught. I said, will you please help me? I just ran out of gas. And she said, to make a long story short, she said, yes, Well, she had someone to trail us to my car, got gas. We went back to my house. And we went back to my house. She didn't know me from a can of paint. She went inside of my home, and she gave me some money. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And I found out that her husband worked for Federal Express. Well, Federal Express was a young company, 10 years old. It had come to Memphis. It was 10 years old, and I needed a job. So I asked her, would she ask her husband? Her husband told me that, well, he told me, he said, you're so little, you wouldn't make it. They have the hub facilities where they sort the packages. I didn't care. I was desperate. I just wanted a job, Well, anyhow, he didn't get me the job, but with Katrina, all you got to do is say one word. He let that word come out that this temporary service was hiring. Monday morning, I was at that temporary service. And when I was at that temporary service, Lord forgive me, but I dropped a name. I told him, I told the lady, I said, well, I met this guy, and he sent me out here, but that wasn't the case. I needed this job. Just send me to Federal Express. Well, she sent me to Federal Express, and I wanted one of those computer jobs. She sent me out there, and I usually get what I want. When I got out there, I heard, you mind your own business, some more jobs are going to come open for permanent employees. That happened. I heard the jobs were coming through. We will be able to apply for the job. Well, I applied for the job, and I'll never forget, I was in their employee cafeteria. So if you were a temporary, you were over here. If you were a Federal Express employee, you were over here. And I remember some girls, they dressed really pretty. And I remember over here them say, I sure hope she get that job so she can buy her some clothes. And that kind of hurt my feelings, but, I didn't, I didn't let that bother me. I applied for the job, and you know what? They interviewed 80 people, and out of those 80 people, they hired they hired 10 people. 2 were women, and 1 was me. And that was my breakthrough, and when I got the job, I remember Fred Smith, that's the owner of Federal Express. He used to come out and he used to talk to us. And when he would talk to us, I would listen to him. But you know what? I always thought outside the box. I always thought, I would look at my children, and we would always not have. The daddy still wasn't doing right. Pick me up, take my money, make poor investments. He was this get rich thing. He always thought it was going to happen, and it never was going to happen. Well, anyhow, when Fred Smith would come out there and talk to us, you know what? I would always listen to that man. But in my mind, I would always think, you know what, Mr. Smith? I sure thank you all for this job at Federal Express. This is what I'm thinking. But he would talk about orange and purple blood, the color of his airplanes. And I would think to myself, I'm not going to retire here. I'm not going to work here for the rest of my life. Thank you. You know what? I'm going to start my own business. If Mr. Smith can start a Federal Express that ship out planes, ship out packages, cargo around the world while we're sleeping, I'm going to start something myself. I said, what I'm going to do is, who's keeping these people children? I said, who's keeping these folks children? People need, I knew that I was a great mama, you know. I said, I'm going to start me a daycare center. I said, but what I'm going to do is when I start this daycare center, it's going to be ran 24 hours. They sending out packages, cargo. Mine is going to be precious cargo, people, babies.
Yes.
So I started a 24-hour daycare. No one had ever heard of that. I said, the children going to come in and roll out. Well, to make a long story short, I had never seen, you know, money like I was making because people loved me. They loved Katrina, you know. They loved me. When I talked to them, they wanted their babies with me. And I just, you know, started growing, you know. Growing to the fact I didn't leave Federal Express immediately, but it got to the point that, you know, I was leaving so often that I knew I was going to have to leave. So eventually I ended up, you know, writing my resignation letter. My girlfriend did it for me. I had a friend that lived in D.C. And you know what, I'm going to tell you, it was some great black women back then. We took care of each other. It wasn't, everybody wasn't jealous and hateful. We helped one another. We helped one another, you know. Everybody wasn't nice because I didn't know the first thing about daycare. I remember down south, some of the black people wasn't as nice. You know, I go into their business and, you know, they didn't want to tell me nothing. Nobody wanted to help me. But I'm going to tell you something. Nobody gets where they're getting to without some help from somebody. Somebody got to help you. So, God blessed me. I started making money. I had set myself a goal. I'm going to tell you, it didn't fall out the sky. I started with 3 rooms. I remember my grandmother used to say, crawl before you walk. She wasn't living then. But I started from the very bottom, And from there, it grew. It grew. I made $5,000. I had never in my life saw that much money. I had been bankrupt, broke bank, you name it. I've been home, stomping around, begging for money. Did somebody buy me some food? But I'm going to tell you something. That business grew, and I used to hear guys say stuff about boot girls. I used to ride past the Range Rover dealership. I can remember being at a BMW dealership in an old van, you know, and nobody would come out and definitely wanted to even look at me or to help me. You know what? I bought myself about 4 or 5 Range Rovers. I used to hear guys you know, and those dresses that they talk. You know, women can do anything that they want to do, you know. I bought me a mansion. I was no longer homeless. These are things that I did myself. And when I went to my accountant, I'll never forget, he said, you made $3.something million. This little black girl from a little subdivision, we couldn't even go past. It wasn't a subdivision. It was like a little community. 4 streets, the 5th street we couldn't go over. But I just want to tell you all that I made it, you know, with a no-good husband, another no-good husband, another no-good husband. I had 5 of them.
5. I'm sorry. Reflect upon who you are. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Okay, well, my name is Akira. I'm from Harlem. I'm a little bit different than these ladies because I'm like in my early 20s. I've only been going hard at this for about a year. I was just sitting in my house one day, like I've always been writing poetry, and I seen that a lot of people were doing comedy videos and things online to go viral. And I was like, well, if we can go viral with funny jokes, if we could go viral with fighting, if we could go viral with twerking, I want to see if I can get some spoken word out there.
Come on now.
And make people listen.
Come on now. Yes.
So I just got online one day. I did this piece called Now We're Even. I don't know if you guys heard of that one. And then that day, it had 3 million hits. So I was like, dang, well, if this poem can reach all over the world like this, I had celebrities sharing it. D.L. Hughley has been on this page, that page. I was like, well, I'm going to just keep going with it. I started making more videos. And next thing you know, my videos were like a viral thing, and then people started contacting me to do shows and things like that. I actually published my first book when I was only 20 years old, and the book came out in 2012. So then I'm doing like shows and stuff trying to get noticed, and nobody's paying attention because I'm very shy. Like I will sit here and be quiet if nobody asks me questions. But I published in 2012, and the book just wasn't getting the attention that it needed. It's called Naked. I was on the cover of it naked. It was about being emotionally exposed and bare. And I'm like, why can't I get this book to sell? I'm trying to figure out what ways to promote it. So then I figured out the power is in social media. We get on here to promote all of this negative stuff. So I wanted to see if I could use it and do something positive with it. So after going from nobody knowing I had a book for about 4 years plus, I do WBLS Circular Sisters sell out in the first day. I do Barnes & Noble's losing shipment because everybody wants to get this book. Got to take notes, and that's what really gets you into business. You know, instead of taking shots, you got to take notes. You got to watch the business people that want to be where you trying to be. You know, I'm like, all right, so she's a mom. She's doing the Everything Girls Love. If she can do the entrepreneurial thing with her children, maybe I can do it. That's how I started Momternity. When I found that I was pregnant just last year, I was waitressing. And I was in the stall crying, like, how am I going to take care of a baby with $5 an hour? Like, this can't be life. So I quit my job the day I found out I was pregnant, because my biggest thing was I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to have to leave my baby with anybody. I didn't want to have to check her into any of these daycares. You're hearing about all these things that's happening. So I quit my job. I started going to, every time she would speak, I started going to like anything business involved to try to figure out what ways could I make money while staying at home and being able to be with my daughter more. So then I started my t-shirt line. I go out and I do speaking engagements. I speak in schools. I speak in prisons. I speak, you know, just for the youth, because a lot of the time people are talking to these children and there's nothing good to say.
Exactly.
So, you know, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to go speak to these thugs that nobody want to talk to. I'm going to go speak to these girls that everybody's looking at like they ratchet. I'm going to talk to all my brothers and sisters about, you know, where they're trying to go and what they're trying to do with it. And for me to only be 25, as much as I talk, I listen as well. You know, it's not about what can I give you. Me and you could be having a conversation and we could teach each other something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not on it to teach. I'm on it to exchange the information.
My name is Akira. I'm a girl from the Bronx, and in my neighborhood, we're talking about a neighborhood where people didn't graduate from high school, didn't go to college, but I had a mother who pushed me. I graduated from high school in 2001, went to Utica College, which is no longer Syracuse University.
Right.
And I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm a full-figure dancer. Growing up, going to dance school, and being part of Alvin Ailey as my dance major at the Performing Arts School, being chubby wasn't the thing. I always knew I could dance. I always knew I could move, but I always had lose 10, 15 pounds on my report card. Move. What does my weight have to do with it? I'm healthy. You know, I'm eating right. I'm doing all the things that I need to do. So throughout the years, teenage life and adulthood, I got discouraged. And my first major gig was with Beyonce. I did Green Light and I did Get Me Body. And I remember going into the audition. It was my first audition. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. I don't know what she's looking for, but I'm going to do it. And thanks to Frank Gatson, who he saw something in me. And from that on, my first flight was to LA, did the video, and while I was out there, I said, well, let me take advantage of the opportunity. So I went to Clear Audition Dance Agency to get representation. Wouldn't book me. Wouldn't pick me because of my size. And I remember calling Frank and I said, listen, Frank, they're not picking me because they don't know what to do with me. You don't know what to do with me? He said, excuse my language, them motherfuckers ain't got no vision.
That's Frank already.
So that was my aha moment. I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing. Pretty big. I realized there wasn't a platform for professional full-figured women. There was no platform. I didn't look on the TV and see full-figured dancers in 2001. Was unheard of. And I sought out to seek 7 women at the time. We've done amazing things. We did America's Got Talent last year. We made it to round 2. Went back and forth with the judges. We wasn't big enough. I mean, in society, a size 14 is plus size. You telling me I'm not full figured? You know, so I did all those great things, and I say this to say, chase the vision and not the money. In this industry, I tell you, you gotta have the thick skin. You have to have the thick skin. And we all want to make money. We all want to get the ducats. We want to get our coinage. But at the same time, it's all about that vision. And you got to have the positive people around you. If you don't have positive people around you, bye-bye. There's no safe haven for you in my space. You know, people in this industry will tear you down. In my perspective, my dance community, we don't always support each other because it's about who's hot. What's hot right now. But if I stay true to myself, like I've always done, not changing my weight, but make sure I was healthy, and stay true to who I was, my blessings came. Treat people accordingly. People are not nice. Not everybody's nice in this industry. So how you treat people, what you give out is what you get back. I say this to say to all my full-figure women out there, chase your dreams, do what you do, flaunt your stuff, be voluptuous, be fabulous, because we are at the end of the day. So,
just a few words that will inspire and encourage.
oh me, I think we'll start you. Any inspiring words that I would give to you ladies and everyone in the room, I would say trust your gut. That little intuition, that little voice that speaks to you, we try to ignore it. And we ignore it when it comes to relationships, we ignore it when it comes to business, we ignore it when it comes to anything that you're doing. Trust your intuition because it's never going to lie to you. And when we don't listen to it, we wind up in trouble. We do. And you slap yourself later and you say, well, why did this happen? Why does it happen? And you learn the lesson later on as to why it happened, whether it was a negative or whether it was a positive. I've dealt with depression, suicide, betrayal, people telling me I can't do it, you won't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And I say honestly, my faith in God has brought me to so many things.
Yes.
I'm talking about a mother 2 years ago who suffered a stroke and a brain aneurysm. I wanted to give up on everything. Everything. And I said, the only thing that's going to keep me going is my passion for dance, for makeup, my artistry, and everything that I do. I wanted to give up, along with the bad breakup. You know, so just trust your gut. Trust and know that whatever it is, trust yourself.
Well, I'm going to say, don't let nothing stop you from doing whatever it is, that you want to do. I know and I feel that we, each and every one of us, we have a DNA. And we all are God's children. We all are special, But don't let nothing, the fact that the bank won't give you no money, the fact that don't let nothing, when I say nothing, keep a journal, start from the bottom. Anything that you want to do, I promise you, I did it. And if I can do it with 4 children, homeless, nothing. And when I say that, I'm not lying to you guys, nothing. Hungry, stomach growling, you name it, I've been there. You name it, knocks at the door, things being repoed. I've been there. I'm not going to play with you all. I'm not fake, I'm real, okay? It ain't nothing instant about it, but it does not fall out the sky. People tell, but do it. Do it. Start from the bottom. Anything you want to do, I promise to God you can do it. But get out there, work for it, grind for it. If you want, and somebody told me one time, well, you know what? You got a Bentley. They don't know what I went through to get that Bentley. You understand what I'm saying? There's hungry children out there. I help. I do give back. I've buried people when I didn't have nobody to bury my brother. But what I'm saying is, don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever you want to do, do it. You can do it. Start from the bottom. Do it. Just do it like Nike. Do it.
My tips to, if you want to be successful. What I would say for me that has been important is understanding that it took about 30, 40 no's before I got my first yes. So many of us, we hear that and, oh, they're not going to hire me, oh, they don't want me, woe is me, and you quit, you give up, and you stop. That has been my mistake on so many situations. But this one situation, right, I kept going like this. When somebody does this at your house, leave. I'm not answering the door right now. Go. But they keep going like this. What do? You get up take that on and you mean it and you keep knocking, no matter how many times they say no, no matter how many people don't answer, you keep knocking, that door will get answered. I was an intern at Violator, and I didn't get that job easily, and I didn't even want to be an intern at Violator. I thought I wanted to get into law school, and I was like, I'm going to intern, so I have an internship. But to get that internship at Violator, I went through all kind of hell and high waters to get it. I befriended, okay, so I'm just going to go through a quick story. I promise I won't make it long. I graduated from Howard, and I thought that I was getting into fashion because I interned at the Gap's corporate office for years. The year that I was graduating, the CEO of the Gap left the company, and he took the retail management program with him, which I interned through. So if I was going to graduate and work for the Gap, I would have had to start from the very beginning versus me coming in at a merchandiser level, which I thought. So I went back to, I started waitressing. Through waitressing, I came home to New York, and like, what am I going to do? One of my friends said, come with me up to this office. I got to go, I'm booking an artist for something. So I went up to this office, and I'm sitting in the conference room. While I'm there, I see Buster walk in. And then I see Mob Deep going. I'm like, where? And like, what is it? You see Buster walking. Then I saw LL walking. I was like, oh my God, I don't care. What I gotta do, I'm gonna work here. So I went to the reception, and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm Yandy. I just graduated from Howard University. I'd like to intern here. Are you guys accepting any interns right now? The reception didn't even look up. She was reading a book. She said no. I was like, okay. She's just like this. I said, well, can you give me your email address? I'd love to send you my resume just so you have it on file. We're not hiring. All right, I went back in the conference room like, damn, you're not hiring. She didn't even look at me. Super discouraged. But I was like, nah, I want to work here. So then I went back out. And I said, you know, hey, I'm just going to leave you a piece of paper. I just wrote my name on it. If you hear anyone looking for interns, just let me know. I would really like to get my foot in the door. I'm trying to apply for law school. This would be great. I want to get into entertainment law. Didn't even look up. All right, cool. All right, cool. You got it? All right, I got your piece of paper. Cool. My friend was leaving out. On the walkout, I was like, oh, I said, what book are you reading? She was like, oh, The Coldest Winter Ever. Went back to her notes. I was like, okay. That night, I asked my friend, I was like, can you drive me to Barnes & Noble? I just want to get this book. Went and got the book, The Coldest Winter Ever. The next day, maybe read about 2 or 3 chapters. I looked up Violator's number online, and I called the number. And I said, hey, this is Yandy. Who do you want to speak to? Oh, you know, I'm looking for the reception. This is her. How can I help you? Hey, did anything open up? She's like, are you the same girl that was here yesterday? No, I told you nothing opened up, Yandy. Nothing opened. And I was like, well, okay. I just wanted to make sure you have my number. You didn't lose it. And oh, that book you're reading, I got it. I'm up to chapter 3, girl. Yo, midnight is crazy. She was like, yeah, girl, you think chapter 3 is crazy. Wait till you get to 6. Yeah, it is crazy. But anyway, I got to get back to work. Okay, all right, girl, bye. That was like a Tuesday. Thursday, I was up to chapter 6. Hey, girl. Hey, Yandy. I'm just wondering if anything opened up. I actually found your email online as well. I shot you an email with my resume just in case. Did anything open up? She's like, Yandy, it's 3 days later. Nothing opened up. Well, I also was calling to tell you I got up to chapter 6, and you were right. We stayed on the phone about chapter 6 for about 10 minutes. And then I was like, all right, girl, that's my good girlfriend. I'm going to call you Friday when I get to chapter 9. I can go by, but all day I'm like reading. So I could have something to say to her. Monday, I emailed her and I said, hey, I got a temp job down the block. When you go on to lunch, let me know. I'll come take lunch and I'll treat you to lunch. And I said something like, I got a break between 1 and 3. Or like maybe I said like 12 and 3. Who doesn't take lunch between 12 and 3?
Exactly.
Everybody does. So she hit me back like, oh, that's cool. I take lunch at 1. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm going to just walk over because I'm right down the block. Mind you, I sat in front of her job from like 12 till she came down. I had no temp job. I was lying. And so we sat, we talked about the book, the whole lunch, and this is crazy, and I knew a guy like this, and I knew a guy like that, and da-da-da, it's crazy. When we were going back, I was walking her back to her job, like, yeah, I gotta go down, but my boss just told me I got the rest of the evening off. And she was like, well, come on. She's like, well, come upstairs. She's like, why don't you just come up or whatever? It ain't nothing much going on in the office. I was like, oh, all right. This day really was the change of my life. That day, Mona Scott, at the time, she's Mona Scott Young now, happened to be in the office. The other day when I was there, she wasn't there. So this day, she said, I hear her raspy voice in the back, like, yes, we're going to do this, and this, and this, and I'm like, who's who's that? She's like, oh, that's Mona. She's the president of the company. You know, stay over here. Mona doesn't really do too well with people, new people. Just stay over here. And I'm like, all right, cool. Mona, me and, you know, I'm sitting at the reception desk. Tiffany's doing her thing. Mona comes out the office. All of a sudden, Tiffany not talking to me. No, she like, and I was like, what's going on? So Mona's like, who are you here to see? And I was like, I'm here to see Tiffany. Tiffany was like, and I'm like, no, I came to bring my resume, I'm like, Tiffany's giving me the eye, like, you ain't here to see me, don't even know. So I'm like, well, I was like, I'm here, I dropped off my resume, I was actually looking for an internship. And she's like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, you know, I just graduated from Howard. I was like, but I'm excellent at organizing. I was like, I can do this, I can do that. I said, I've never really been in music, but whatever it is that you need, I can probably do it. But I see your office looks a little messy. I can organize very, very well. And she was like, all right, well, then go organize my office. And with a college degree, and I graduated with honors, I was organizing someone's office. And then from organizing her office, I was starting to go to Starbucks. From going to Starbucks, I started to answer her phones. From answering her phones, I started to file her paperwork. And there were so many naysayers, right? First of all, just the story of how I got the job is one of the stuff. But then my mom was like, all right, Yandy, you graduated, you got student loans, you got bills. When are you going to start paying these bills back? And then you living in my house. When you gonna get out of my house, start paying me some rent. And I'm like, well, Mom, I got an internship. I'm not even getting paid for this internship. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. After I was at Violator for about 3 months, working for free, I started making $100 a week. Now, I'm 21, making $100 a week. My mother, my grandmother, my friends was fly. They, you know, they had the bags, the shoes, the jeans. I was wearing the same 3-pair rotated jeans and the same Violator t-shirt. I would switch up my Violator t-shirt. At that time I was like, I'm not gonna fit in, so I might as well not go to any parties with you guys. I'm just gonna be regular and a mess because I can't fit in with you guys. My mom, get a job, get a job. Why are you doing that? It's ridiculous. You're working for no money. Leave that job. You're crazy. And then I would be the first one in the office because I wanted to make sure Mona's desk was organized. And then I was the last one to leave because I wanted to make sure my area was organized. So when I came in the morning, I could do what I needed to do for her. And this was kind of my cycle. I would get in. I had to be there at 10. I would get in about 9, and then I would leave a lot of the times about 10, 11 o'clock at night. After a while, she took notice. And I went from being her intern to being an assistant manager. And then I was on tour with Missy. I was 23, 24, and I was on tour with Missy Elliott by myself, being an assistant manager in Japan, in Africa, in Australia. But it all started because I kept knocking at that door. And I wouldn't let them say to me, no, we're not hiring right now. That wasn't a good enough answer, and I wasn't willing to take it. And that's sometimes how you have to be in this business. You have to keep going. You know, if the door closes, find that crack in that window and climb your big body through it. Because you're going to fit if you push it up hard enough. And that's my biggest piece of advice is just don't stop. Just don't quit. If it's something you want and it's your goal, it's your focus, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you no. Keep knocking.
Thank you.
What tips or advice can I provide for someone who is attempting to be a spoken word influencer? What I find is that the pieces that I do that are from my personal experiences, like, those are the ones that resonate most with the audience. Like, when I'm trying to write about having a good day, but I'm in home crying, people are going to realize that. But when I'm talking about how my man didn't come home last night, and I'm telling the truth, and I get online and I make a video, then that's what people feel the most. So I would say if you want to tell your story, whether it's writing a book, because I also do short stories and things like that, if you want to tell your story, make sure it's your story and make sure it's truthful. A lot of the times we get focused on saving face. You know, there's a quote that says, well, everybody has a chapter they don't read out loud. Well, not me. Because if you come to my social media, you're going to see how I was alone during this time, or, you know, everything that I say is going to be just real, raw, and uncut. That's why I wrote my book entitled Naked, because I have nothing to hide. Everything is going to be out there and bare. And right now it's a influx of men that are doing, you know, women advice. You got this guy giving quotes about females this, and that guy giving quotes about women this and that. And I think that what separates me from them is because I live it. I'm not watching it, you know. When you're giving advice about something that you're looking on, it's going to be a different thing you tell them versus what you're going through. So he can give you the advice watching you go through it with your boyfriend or whatever, but I'm going through the same thing you're going through. So we're going to talk about it till 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to start a topic, and we're going to write a story, and we're going to write a poem. So I think that when you're writing or whether you're speaking, it has to be the most honest and uncut versions of yourself. People can tell when you're faking it. They can tell when you're just trying to sell. They can tell when you're just trying to go viral. They can tell when you're just, what do people want to hear? How many times have you read something and you're reading it like, that kind of sounds forced. Like, I'm not feeling that person. It comes through writing, because writing is one of the only passions that if you're a writer, you have to be a writer. Like, I also do acting, I write songs and things like that, but you know, sometimes how a singer can write a song for the trend that's happening. Let me write this song that sounds this way to sell it. Sometimes an actor can go in the movie, oh, this is the topic that everybody's talking about, let me go audition for that role. With writing, you can't do that. With writing, it has to be you. You can't write for the fans. You can't write for the audience. It has to be you're writing for yourself, what you want to say, and then it's up to you whether you share it. It's like a diary, so to speak. So my advice for anybody who's a writer or anybody who's a public speaker, when you're speaking, make sure you're speaking. Make sure that nobody else's voice comes out of your mouth when you open it.
Akira, what tips or advice can you provide? So you've been on major networks and you have worked, and Beyonce's big, she's popular right now. What can you say to the crowd? What can you let them know? Because you didn't just get there. What made you apply to be in these positions, especially with America's Got Talent, with your group?
So, my publicist, Sora George, at the time, she gave me a phone call. She said, hey, I think you girls should go out and do America's Got Talent. Me, I'm always, confidence is key. So I'm like, let's do it. My girls is like, we not ready. I'm like, well, we gonna be ready now. So we gonna do this now. It's either now or never. So we went to the audition, but the funny thing about it was that we didn't go to it right away. We got a phone call and they wanted us to come. We had a private audition. So that to me was like, okay, we're on it. Pretty Big is on to something. So money-wise, we don't have a budget, no budget. So I was like, I gotta get creative. So I said, we're gonna throw on some afros. We're gonna put on a pretty big shirt because I'm gonna represent my brand because it's gonna be on television. People gonna see my shirts and they're gonna see Pretty Big. And we're gonna put on some shoes and we're gonna go in and do this piece. When we did it, the funny thing about television is you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're wearing, it has to look cohesive. And it has to coincide with what you're filming the first day and the second day. So I knew right away, if I put my shirts on, I know everyone's going to see them regardless, because we had to do the audition in front of the celebrity judges. So when we did that, I was like, this would be great exposure for my brand. It's always about the exposure. Get as much exposure as you can that you want for your brand. And we did it. We did successful work on it. Contracts. Read your contracts. Get a lawyer. If you don't know what the legal terms are, if you don't know what the verbiage is, get a lawyer. Make sure you have someone that can explain it to you so that you know what you are signing. A lot of people don't know what they're signing. You get caught in the catch-22. So that's my advice. Read your contracts, know exactly what you're getting into, and make sure this is something that you love to do. If you don't love doing it, don't even bother. Starts with passion.
Now, I know you told us a lot about yourself earlier as far as how you decided to start your business. Is there any other tips or advice that you can think of that you didn't get a chance to say earlier that you might want to tell them, especially because you're so powerful and you said it, you know, you made it successfully and you also made it financially. So maybe there's some tips that you could provide us with.
I've raised 3 girls and 1 son, but those girls, I love young ladies, I love the guys, but I'm a woman. And when I look at you all, you know, I've heard some awful things throughout my life, you know, that I've heard fellas say, you know, well, that's a boot girl. You know, buy your own boots. But also I heard my mama say, don't be with a nigga if he can't buy your Coca-Cola. He got a little short alligator arm. You know? But at the same time, you know, I just, you know, want to see my girls. Y'all are all my girls. Y'all are my babies. Y'all are my queens. And I want to see y'all all do good. We some of the smartest. I mean, we just the gift, you know. I mean, and we're powerful, you know. Women are. You know, we don't have to settle for less. You know, we don't have to be a boot girl. You know, we can get it. We can get it. And I want to see all of y'all get it. You know, get it. Don't settle for less. I've seen, you know, too many times, you know, people that I love, You know, I just buried a sister-in-law that I was so close to, and she could cook so good. Before cooking shows and Martha Stewart was even thought about. You know, I mean, her food would just slide down your throat. You didn't even have to chew it up. You know, but she never did what she desired to do. She waited until her heart got so bad and she was so sick, but she was a procrastinator. So I just want to say to you all, please, you know, don't, like Yandy mentioned, the naysayers, do what you got to do. Don't wait. Do it. Start from the bottom and do it. I mean it. You can.
And can I put that I don't know, but I love this lady right here. But the other thing too, and piggybacking off of her, is this is your network, right? There's so many women that are around you, your neighbors, at your offices, your girlfriends. Instead of picking up the phone and reaching out to your sister and saying, listen, I need help. I know that you have this or you do that. So I think if we come together and we do this, it'll be so much bigger. And I'm telling you, my success is not because I did it on my own. Because really, I keep a smart team of women behind me, in front of me, on the side of me. And that is the only reason why I exist as I do today. And it's because I was not afraid to say, listen, you're great at branding. You're great on the web and in computers. You take amazing pictures. So you get the picture, you get on the computer, and you help me figure out a brand. Let's all come together. Let's take some pictures and create this ambiance of this brand. You know, I don't take pictures. I don't know the first thing about a computer, and I'm not a marketing genius. But they are. And if I'm the package that's getting promoted out there, it just makes me look all that more together because I got a smart team around me. So you have to realize a lot of times, you're like, where do I start? How do I start? Well, if you know you bake cakes well, and you want to get your cakes to whatever, you know this person is connected to Miss Katrina or connected to a Yandy. All right, well, I'm going to bake a cake. You know Yandy, let's get together. You call Yandy. I'm going to do a baby shower for free. And then from there, make sure you tell her that she got to shout me out. And then once she shout me out, whatever the case, but I'm telling you, this is how it happens. If you look at my whole team, people that I keep around me, that's how it happens. Like, you do this, like right now I'm starting I have a Yale Beauty, which is skincare line, a hair line, and a lash line. So my hairstylist that I travel with all the time, who's somewhere here, the makeup artist, I'm like, all right, so you work on the skincare stuff and the makeup because you know what us melanin women need. You do hair, so you're going to make all the wigs, and you are marketing, and I put it all together, and now I have a beautiful package that you'll see in Essence Magazine next month and the month after, and you'll see it all over the show. But it wasn't me doing it by myself. It was this team of people that I had come together and really helped me pull this whole thing together. And that's something that you ladies have got to know. When you want to start a business, go get close with the girl that is into what you're into. Or go get close with the girl that also does the computers. Or do this and come together. And that will really help you promote and build your empire.
I want to piggyback on Yandy. She is amazing. Because I'm from Memphis, and I'm like, when she say knock, 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 somebody mentioned Yandy's name to me. They mentioned her name. I didn't know Yandy. I'm a little older, so I didn't know Yandy. I didn't know, I've heard of Lovely. So they mentioned her name to me. I said, so you say you know Yandy? See, I'll call you out. I said, so I want to meet Yandy. You know? That's what I told the brother. He's from New York, okay? So I guess he's going to show out, and Yandy will tell you, I came up there, I did not give up on Yandy. Yandy said, well, can you be in Atlanta? Where was I at? In Atlanta. Yes. And, you know, from that day on, and she didn't know me. She didn't know me, but a super wonderful woman, a super wonderful mother. I did not give up because I woke up and I knew that it was bigger. I said, I'm not Oprah, but God, you got something for me to do for my women. I sat on the bed one morning, and it's bigger than the neighborhood. It's bigger than all these women that I'm doing something around Memphis. It's bigger than the drug dealers that I'm helping, you know, taking them off the streets. And showing them how to form their own business. It's bigger than that. The world got to know about Katrina Walker. The world got to know about Katrina.
And with that being said, Katrina, Yandy, and Tori here, Tony, I'm sorry, we'll be doing an Unbreakable Truths event. So if you know anybody in Charlotte that needs some empowerment, motivation, motivational speaking, please encourage them to follow these ladies' pages and attend the event. If you yourself is going to be in the area in that time, I encourage you, attend the event. Because it's so important. We all say we're going to support each other, but when we leave here today, how many of us are really going to support each other? How many of us are really going to speak and say and encourage one another? So I think that's really important. So again, if you know anybody in Charlotte, they will be doing a piano, Unbreakable Truths. Follow them, get those dates. Yandy, my next question is for you.
Yeah.
With the Black Lives Matter movement, you have been a celebrity that's really been behind it. And you've been in the Essence Live, you are encouraging. Tell us a little bit more about that because, you know, it's such important in the Black Lives Matter movement. So I think if you could just reflect on that and, you know, let us know how you're turning on that.
Well, I'm a mother with sons, period, point blank. I'm not an activist. I'm not great at spoken word like my sister to my left. I'm a mother with sons. I'm a mother with a baby girl. And for that alone, I will fight to the death of me to make sure they have equality in the justice system. I will fight to the death of me to make sure my son can wear a hoodie in our privileged neighborhood and not be subjected to getting killed. For the life of me, to the death of me, I will make sure that my daughter can grow up and receive equal pay as the men around her. I will make sure my daughter can get stopped at a traffic light and not have to worry about being taken in and popping up dead. I'm just a mother with children. And for that alone, it's my responsibility, it's my duty to make sure my children can go up in a better world if I can help do that. If I can prevent my children from facing something that they don't deserve, I'm going to be on the front line. And I will do it until, if it takes me out, that's what just has to take me out. Because it means that much to me. I don't have like super eloquent words to say. I am a firm believer in equality, and I feel like we deserve it. I feel like we've worked hard, we built this company, and this country, and we deserve it. And that's just it. And as I've done research, and I've really dug into this government and how it's set up, and how it's a big circle of these large corporations, you know, a lot of the product comes from massive incarceration, and the over-policing keeps black men and Latino men in this circle of, you know, getting locked up, and you can be jaywalking down the street in California and get locked up, and now you're working for 23 cents an hour so that Victoria's Secret can make a bra, and so that these legislators have money, and then it's just a cycle. It's a cycle that the government has that's to hurt us, you know, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. And I always try to be involved so that I can help educate. I feel like if I'm going to have all these people that follow me or care about what I have to say, I'm going to say something. And if I'm not saying something that's going to save my children's life, then I should just shut up. So that's the only reason why I'm out there, and I'm learning as much as I can so that I can educate the masses on what's really going on.
And our last question, before we open for question and answers, is ladies. A lot of females, a lot of people in general want to know, they work a 9 to 5. When is it time to walk away? Is there a time to walk away? What's best to walk away from that 9 to 5 and be successful? Because so oftentimes people chase your dreams, but we all say those bills come like fireworks. That is true indeed. So what can you say to the person who's up in the air, who thinks their business will be much more successful if they could just pursue it 100%? But at the same time, they still have these bills. Where is the balance? Where is the in-between? When is it? Is there a time when it's 9 to 5, or is it just that one day you're going to wake up and you say, you know what? I'm over this. I'm just going to focus on this, and I'm going to walk away from this. Because when you walk away from, you're not just walking away from a steady income. You're walking away from health insurance. You're walking away from that life insurance plan. So what is your whole aspect on the 9 to 5? Is it good to work a 9 to 5 and continue to push your brand? What is it? Where is it? Where's the in-between?
I'll go quick. I think, see, I've never, because I was so young when I got into this industry, I wasn't faced with that question. But people ask that question all the time. But as a mom, I understand the sacrifices, and I understand you have to pay bills, you have to feed your children. And sometimes it might not be the smartest thing. It might be with your heart and goals and mind is set on having your own business, but you have to keep a roof over your head. You have to feed your children. They need health insurance. But what I will say is, A lot of us spend a lot of ancillary time on nonsense. How many of you have Instagram? How many of you have Facebook? How many of you have Twitter? How many of you watch Love and Hip Hop? Right then and there, if we do all that in one day, that's about 3 hours out of your day of foolishness.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, Yandy, you got whatever, 1 million followers, why you only follow 100 people? Because if I'm so busy worrying about what you got going on in your life, I'm not helping him with his homework. I'm not working on EGL. I'm not working on the skincare company. I'm not, spending time with my husband. Because I'm worried about what you got going on. I don't even Facebook, whoever runs my Facebook, I don't even know. Not because I'm not interested in what's going on, but because I know that I'll get caught up in what's going on. And then I can't catch up on my stuff. So what I would say is if you have to make that decision between working and your dream, cut out ancillary stuff. You don't need Love and Hip Hop every Monday. DVR it when you get a weekend on, watch it on the weekends in a marathon. But the same amount of 9 to 5, 8 hours you invest in your, working for the man, try to figure out how to invest that same amount of 8 hours in your business. Even if it's not every day, 3 days out the week. All right, this week there's no Facebook, there's no Instagram, and there's no gossip talk, Love and Hip Hop, whatever the show, whatever your guilty pleasure is. Not today. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this is just me working on whatever my company is, period, point blank. And if you really start doing that and consciously make the decision to do that, you'll have so much more time to focus on you, and you might not have to give up that job.
I would say to the 9 to 5ers, I remember working at Macy's at 34th Street for about 5 years. And it got to a point where we're talking about a flagship store. Like, so holidays, you already know how it's going to be. And it just got to a point where I got fed up. I got tired of being a cashier. They wasn't promoting me as a makeup artist, because I'm also a makeup artist as well. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to do what I have to do for myself. This company's making money. I need to build a brand and make a company where I'm making my own money. It also got to a point for me where it got frustrating because I just wanted to do my own thing. And I just felt like, how am I going to make these people money and grow their business and their brands and make them money, and I'm broke. I'm broke. I'm working 3 days a week, part-time, and I'm still not getting satisfied and getting the things that I want. So everyone has a toolbox. I call my toolbox my old dance teacher from 8 years ago, my friend who does this from 5 years ago, my friend who does this. I utilize my toolbox and I reach out to my resources, and that's how I started my business. And also remain humble in the process. You have to remain humble. You're not going to get what you want right away. You're going to get discouraged. You may have to go back to that 9 to 5, but after 5 o'clock, it's your time for your business. And it has to be consistent. You can't say one day, okay, I'm going to do it, then the next day I'm going to take a break. If you want something, you have to stay consistent. Consistency is key.
I would say I work the job at Federal Express and waitress. I've done it all, but I would say, first of all, you got to come up with a plan. You don't just quit your job. You just quit your job. But you gradually, like winning a baby out the bottle. But you come up with a plan. And, of course, we like the things that we like to do, like get our nails done. We got to learn how to save our money. It may not seem like very much, but come up with a plan. And another thing, I'm a firm believer in a journal. Don't wait on other people to applaud you. Because when I got those 3 rooms, I'm so happy. I clap for myself. So, applaud for yourself. Come up with a plan. Come up with a plan. And cut back. Don't quit your job right away. And when you start seeing money coming in from this new business or venture or whatever you decide to do, you're going to see some money. Because if you work hard, there's no way for you to plant a seed and you go back. You nurture that seed. Something's going to come up. And as you start making money, you're going to start making some money gradually. And eventually, it's going to be enough for you to be able to leave that job and put everything into that business that you started. But just figure out what you want to do. Come up with a plan. Don't even tell the folks you're going to leave. Stay on that job. Stay on that job. And like what Yandy mentioned, 2 or 3 days, stop doing all this other stuff. Live and breathe what you want to do.
Okay,
before children, it's not going to be the same advice you give to someone after children. Because Kara Circle last year, I took my tax money. All my friends was like, come on, let's go on vacation. Let's buy this bag. I took my money. I moved to Los Angeles.
What?
Yes, I took my tax money. No job, no apartment. I was like, I'm out. I'm going to LA. I want to be an actress. So I stayed out there for 3 months. I got 2 jobs. I was doing a thing out there. Came home to New York City. Got pregnant with my daughter, and it was like a whole different mind frame. You can't just, oh, I'm jumping out the window. I want to do this. I want to dream chase. Then that's when I had to make that game plan. So if you don't have children, I'm going to encourage you to do what you want to do beforehand, because children is going to be your biggest bill. Like me, I went to LA. I was staying in motels before I got my apartment. I went out there, no job. I had enough money to survive for like the first month and enough money for a plane ticket back to New York. So I was like, you know, that's the type of freedom that you're able to do if you don't have children, if you don't have bills, if you don't have student loans and these type of commitments, you know. So if you don't have that, then you might be able to quit that job. You might be able to dream chase. But if you do have a baby and you do have a con ed coming in and you do have, you know, tuition you need to pay and things of that nature, you can't do that. You got to make that game plan. But also, we spend all these hours on social media. I think what I mastered was how to make money on them. I don't get on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram without getting money off of it. If I'm online, I'm gonna make money. Like some of the time I sit online, I'll just be clicking, taking surveys and just silly things because I know that I want to be online. So if I'm going to be spending those hours online, you might as well figure out what ways to do, you know, instead of Googling what the trending topic is or what Kim K said to enroll, you can Google ways to make money. And I literally I get checks just sitting in a house. So if you do quit the job to put your all into your business, make sure that you have other ways to make money. If you are going to be online, Facebook and Instagram, and make sure that you're getting paid to do it. Instagram is making money off of advertisers from us sitting there reading it. So why not make money off of Instagram, having people pay you to do this or do that, you know, things like that. So that would be my advice. Yeah, don't quit the job without the backup plan. I used to always say before my daughter, you know, to have a plan B, that means you don't believe in your plan A. You got to put your all into plan A, no backup plan, no backup plan. But of course, that was before you have a child. Once you have a child, you're not going to move the same way. You're going to be like, oh no, this ain't about me no more. I can't up and leave to LA with nowhere to live and no job and just go out there and be a free child. You know, you got to have a whole different mindset now. So I think that the backup plan is going to be the most important thing for you. And like these ladies have previously said, make sure you're surrounding yourself with your friends. Like with me and my friends, sometimes I tell them, all right, no talking about boys, because I'm the friend that everybody comes to for the advice about, Akira, you know, my relationship, this and that. And it will be a weekend where I'm like, all right, we're going to have no boy talk, we're going to have business talk. Instead of a slumber party to talk about our relationships, we're going to have a slumber party, we're going to brainstorm. Because we all trying to stop working. None of us want a waitress. None of us want to, you know, years from now, we trying to be up there. So I'm like, all right, so instead of this meet up and we going to dish and drink and talk about our guys, let's meet up and talk about our business goals. I can brainstorm and bounce this idea off of you and vice versa. And I'm very good with business. I didn't get the chance to go to college, but education is free. You could pay that money for that washing set, you could pay that money to get that business book. I live in Barnes and Nobles, you know, just read, you know, reading. If you read a lot in that free time, instead of going to the club, go to the bookstore, then you won't necessarily have to quit your job. And I just think the interview last year where everybody was like, you know, put your own money up, you don't need no boss. But unless you're going to be selling drugs, where are you going to get that money from? A job. Unless you're going to be asking for handouts, hey, can you pay this bill for me? I need this and that. You're going to need a job to support yourself. So the people that are telling you put your own money up, where are you going to get your own money? You're going to need to work somewhere. So the most important thing with that would be the deadline. I set extreme deadlines for myself, like it's life or death. Like, okay, by this date, this is when something has to happen. So I go hard like something is really going to happen that day, and then I set that deadline. So the thing is not having a job. The thing is, all right, by this time next year, I need to be out of this job. I need to do everything I need to do to be out of this job by next year. So the deadlines will help you if you're working somewhere you don't want to be. Like when I moved to LA last year, I got me a job that paid $9 an hour, and I was like, all right, by this time next month, I'm going to be at a job that pays more. So you set the deadlines for yourself. If you're going to be online, make money. There's so much ways to make money online, especially Facebook. I mean, I make so much money just Facebook and stuff, you know, YouTube, things like that. So make sure you have that backup plan. Make sure you set those deadlines, and you won't need to necessarily quit your job.
Share something with you all too. One of the important things that has always helped me throughout life is personality. If you got the right personality, people will show favor and they will help you. People will help you. I mean, really, everybody's not bad. So if you really, got that right personality, that person may help you, to get to wherever you're trying to get to. Because people genuinely, and I'm not bragging, but they do love me.
It's very true. Personality goes a long way. And also being easy to work with. If you are difficult to work with, forget about the personality. I don't even want to know you. I don't. If you're not good to work with and easy to work with is the best way to go, and build relationships. I worked with Salt and Pepper as their makeup artist for 2 years, traveling with them. I didn't make the greatest amount of money, but I built relationships with them. So if I needed to call Mama Salt or Pep, hey, listen, I got this going on, I'm pretty sure it would not be a problem. Building relationships.
Your question, so you can go.
Oh, okay. Hi. So I just want to start off by saying all of you gave me goosebumps. I saw value in everything you said. It was very inspiring, very empowering. The question I have is about promotion. I was like going crazy trying to raise my hand because when you said about having the right personality, it kind of in a sense to me like a little bit contradicts what Yandy said about being yourself. So now I feel like I have two questions about promotion, and then now, how do you know when being yourself is probably what's going to hinder you? Because like you said, if you have a personality that's not rubbing people the right way, then what do you do in that situation? And then, so that's my one question. And then the second question about promotion kind of ties to what you were saying about, using social media. Really quick about me, really fast, is that I'm a teacher. I'm an English teacher for high school, but I've also been trying to start a variety of businesses. I've started an online show to inspire the youth to, establish a career and a future goal. So it's called Journey to Inspire. Then I started a fitness club called Most 5 Steps to Weight Loss because I lost 60 pounds in a year postpartum and have a son as well. And then, all of these things I've been studying, and I started writing a book, I did a blog, and I do all these things, but I'm not quite sure how to promote. And I'm not sure if I should be promoting or if it should be like what you said, just kind of put yourself out there and see if people gravitate. So my question is, how do you start promoting your brand? Are you supposed to promote it? Is that, or are you supposed to just kind of let it happen? Like how, you do see people just post the videos 1 minute and then it will go viral, but they didn't have to promote it. So that's my question. Like, how do you know when your personality may hinder you, and then also how do you go about promoting?
Well, I'll answer a portion of that. I think it's just general consensus that manners will open doors that money just can't. And you have to, if your personality is that you stink and you're nasty, you have to change. You have to level up. You have got to, and that's not being yourself, but that's, let me look in the mirror and say, you are not who you need to be. And who you are right now is not who you have to be tomorrow. A mean, nasty person should not stay mean and nasty. An introvert, a quiet person, if you're in the business of wanting to be a librarian, then fine. But if you're in the business of you want to promote empowerment, if you want to keep people on the journey of being great and opening businesses, you want to write books and you got to go promote your book, you cannot be an introvert. You cannot be I don't really deal too tough with people, because it contradicts who you are. So that's when you have to level up and you have to change who you are if you want to be in that particular type of business. So you got to remember, manners will open doors that money just can't. It's just the truth.
It is.
It's just the truth. I'm telling you, I am not the smartest girl in the bunch. I promise you I'm not. I'm not the prettiest girl in the bunch, and I really don't dress that cute. I just put this on today because the stylist gave it to me. I don't see Brian here, but he will tell you, like, every day he's like, Yandy, don't wear that outside. Like, you want to go to store like that? Like, Yandy, come on. The scarf on your head and your varsity pajamas, just don't wear it. But this is a package that someone created. This makeup, I was in a chair for 2 hours for this makeup. My hair, someone did this. This dress, someone gave it to me to put on. I'm going to take it off, I'm going to get right back. It's a package. But I'm a nice girl. I could have walked in here with jeans, sneakers, and a white t-shirt, said the same thing, and you guys would have listened. And then after, I'm going to say, how are you? You good? It's nice to meet you, whatever. Because I'm a nice person. And a lot of times, like I said, it has been my manners and my mannerisms that have opened doors for me because I wasn't this package. This package has been since TV. Before TV, I never did my makeup. I still don't do my nails. My feet, if I take the shoes off, you're going to be like, girl, what you doing? No, it's really not, it's not that. It's that I think I'm just a nice person. And that has opened a lot of the doors that might not have been open to me.